Eddie has been good enough to join us. We put a call into Eddie, and he has actually been good enough to take some of our time. I understand he's got another commitment in about 3 or 4 minutes' time. So, Eddie, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, g'day, boys. I wish I was in better circumstances.
Now, just run me by it. Is that true that you were at a symposium for Indigenous scholarships at Melbourne Grammar?
Yeah, it was, but that doesn't mean anything for the situation
No,
today.
I
mean,
just wanted to clarify that, and that you are part of the Michael Long Foundation, and you do have something like 35 Indigenous jobs going through Collingwood. You are, and you do put a lot of your own time, and I'm told at least 20,000 of your own money in. So you didn't raise any of that at the press conference today?
No, and it's not really something to talk about here, Dwayne, because it's they're things that people should do, and so you don't want 3 cheers for that. I mean, what I did today, and all I can say is, I heard just the intro there with Jake, mate. I know how to explain it. Can I give me 30 seconds to try and explain this, because I'm trying to figure it out myself all day as well. What happened was this: I was sitting there. We're getting to the end of talking about we had a phone call that came through out of nowhere about somebody had been to the King Kong preview yesterday, and we're talking, and I was actually drifting off, to be perfectly honest, and thinking, in the old days they used to do these things and they would have made great fun of what happened to Adam Goodes on the weekend, and this is the type of thing, and I was thinking, this has gone a long way, and it sort of, I just let slip out of almost like the irony of it. Oh yeah, they invite Adam Goodes, and then we went to the song. I thought, what did I just say? And Luke Darcy looked at me sort of as if I had 3 heads, and I said, hang on a second. I went out and got the air check. And I listened to it and I said, where did that come from? Because I was thinking the exact opposite. I was thinking how, because it's obviously in front of mind for me for the entire week. It's all I've spoken about. And I just came straight back on air and apologised and retracted and all the rest of it. But, as I said today in the press conference, those words came out of my mouth and I have to, pick up the mess from here. And, the thing that I was so indignant about on Saturday night was that Adam Goodes wasn't able to come off the ground as a conquering hero with his arms in the air. Instead, went off with his head bowed and disappointed. And I didn't know at the time that was a young girl who did it. Just it was somebody in the crowd when I went down to see him. But today I feel even worse because I've said something that has made him get up today and probably thought, right, here's the start of the rest of my life, and I can get on with it. And he's had to cop all this stuff all day. I'm so sincerely sorry to Adam and to everyone that those words came out. It wasn't what I was even thinking, far less anything premeditated, and I unreservedly apologise and take them back. I'm so sorry. I've just arrived at home. I'm going to go on 360 tonight because I believe the footy world need to actually, hear from me as well. And as you said, I'm going to go on the radio tomorrow. I haven't even thought about fining or suspending myself.
Why didn't you wake yourself a little harder today?
Oh, I probably will, Dwayne, to be honest. I just haven't had time. All I've done all day was ring round to get to Goodgie and to the Swans and to Michael Long, who I had to speak to, and I spoke to Andrew Demetrio and Kate Lundy on behalf of the Australian government and the people of Australia. And I will go tomorrow because I think I have to face up to that. And then I'm happy. I'm going to go to the AFL. Andrew Demetrio has sent out the press release today saying, "Yep, you've got to go in and have the Indigenous sanctions." Mate, more than happy. More than happy. I made a blue, and it's the anathema of what I stand for. Every sinew in my body is for equality, and it's the opposite. I mean, I hope people can see that by my reaction and by what I do on a daily basis, not on one, aside on the radio show this morning. As I said, when I was too tired. I shouldn't have done it. But usually I punch through and I get the second coffee in me after the 7 o'clock news, and I'm okay. And Das did the right thing. He looked at me. He didn't tumble in or anything. He sort of said, "What?" And I said, "Hang on a second." And I went out and heard the what was said, and I couldn't believe it myself, and I retracted immediately, apologised immediately, and I will do whatever it takes to rehabilitate the feelings of Adam Goodes and anybody out there who heard it, and any fair-minded person would take it.
Eddie, one of those people is Harry O'Brien. Have you spoken to him, and how did you respond to his comments, which were very strong and very critical?
But my comments, Jake, are strong and critical. No one is more critical of the situation than me. And Harry's allowed to have that situation. Harry's a black man. I'm not. So he can teach me more things. In fact, Harry rang me 10 minutes ago and said, are you doing any press conferences tonight? He was really, agitated and upset. He said, can I come on with you on a press conference? Not to stick up for me, but to talk about where his feelings come from. And, oddly enough, I said in a piece last week in the Herald Sun, it might have been a good thing that this happened 20 years ago with Collingwood because we're such a big club, and I fervently believe that Nicky Winmar's stand saved Collingwood Football Club, and it got me involved. And today, the last thing on God's earth I want to be is actually standing in the position of being the antithesis of everything I think of and believe in. But if this takes it to another step, then we'll do so. So Harry probably come on with me tonight, and he doesn't have to say what a good bloke I am, but I want him to get on there and say what it means so that we get through. Because I've spent the week telling people that calling a black person an ape is like calling them somebody who's subhuman, dehumanising them. That's why I went off my head at the footy that time when I thought Andrew Cracker was being denigrated in that way. You don't have to be racist to make this point that people are subhuman. And that I've fallen in myself today is as mind-boggling more for me than it is for you guys, because I know what actually was going on inside my head, and I don't make any excuses for it. I gave a couple of reasons as to how it happened, but I accept full responsibility and lie myself down at on the birching of the public on it. And if this makes people think twice about thinking it this way, or we go another step, then the exercise will be worth it.
How much, given what Collingwood went through 20 years ago, and given what you've tried to do, how much damage has one comment done? Has it undone a very, very large amount, Eddie?
No, Jake. No, it doesn't, because we do things daily. We do things daily. Yeah, and we'll continue to, and we'll build upon it. And maybe people just have to. I hope that people just say, "Hang on, here's a guy who lives this." This was, as I said, it wasn't even meant to be a smart aleck thing. It was an ironic aside that I was thinking at the time. This is how well we've gone in the old days. This is what would have happened. The old black face type of routine and the cracking out gags about it and things like that. And that was what was genuinely in my head. Now, I don't know if people say, oh, you've been around for 30 years. Well, I have been for 30 years, and I don't make mistakes like this. And that's why, if I can prosecute for myself, this is why, I hope people, take on board that that's what was going in my mind or not in my mind at the time. And as I said, I'm devastated by this. This is everything I stand against. And as I said, I couldn't be any more sorry to Adam Goods or anybody who's listening to this. And the only reason I came on this show is that I know that it's a strong football supporter show, and I don't want to hide behind press conferences or prepared statements or anything else. I just want to tell it as it is. And if I need to punish myself further, I'm more than happy to, Dwayne. To be perfectly honest,
I think it'd be a good move, Eddie.
No, probably. I mean, but I don't know. Maybe I should do another lap or do something. I don't know, but I'll work something, and I'll sit down tomorrow. Look, Longy's staying in town. I'm going to catch up with him, and I'm going to talk to Andrew tomorrow. Andrew Dimitri. I spoke to Goodsy, and he was good enough to accept my apology. As I said,
was he angry, Ed?
Yeah, of course he was. Yeah, of course he was. He should have been too. Why wouldn't he be angry after all this? And particularly, as he said, he felt it because we'd been through so much together. We actually did go through a bit on Saturday night together. And, we've gone through things in the past with Indigenous issues where, he's been good enough to ring me up and support me and thank me on issues that I've taken. And, so for that to happen, it's like feeling like somebody's betrayed you who you thought was one of your pals but turned out not to be. And that's what has cut me, because that's what I stand for in life. And I've made a blue. And as I said,
what did you say to Michael Long?
Oh well, I told him the circumstances as I've just told you, and I absolutely unconditionally apologised to him. And I said, mate, watch me continue to make it up for you. I'm shattered by it. It's as simple as that. There's no way around it. If I had any of those feelings in my heart or anywhere in any fibre of my body, then there'd probably be some justification for it. I made an absolute blue, and that's what happened.
Eddie, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.